Hello, Epic friends. Welcome back for another reading. Today we are continuing in Genesis, and we are continuing talking about Joseph's dreams. So we are going to be in Genesis chapter 41, and we're going to be reading verses 1 through 40. So it's a little bit of a chunk. Grab your Bible. Grab your Epic journal, your comma journal. Make sure to take a look at your comma quick start guide so that you can get helpful tips and hints on how to engage in this passage a little bit differently. We'll go over that at the end for those that already know it. You can also watch a video above if that's an easier way for you to hear about those. But we're going to get started, so hit pause if you need to and start when you are ready. All right, Pharaoh's dreams is the theme of this passage, chapter 41. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other crows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. In the morning, his mind was troubled, and he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one could interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "Today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me, and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream that same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. Now a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream. And things turned out exactly as he had interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was impaled." So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I had a dream, and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." "I cannot do it," Joseph replied to Pharaoh, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "In my dream, I was standing on the bank of a Nile when out of the river there came out 7 cows, fat and sleek, and they grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows came up, scrawny and very ugly and lean. I had never seen such ugly cows in all the land of Egypt. The lean, ugly cows ate up the 7 fat cows and came up first. But even after they ate them, no one could tell that they had done so. They looked just as ugly as before. Then I woke up. In my dream, I saw 7 heads of grain, full and good, growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads sprouted, withered and thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads. I told this to the magicians, but none of them could explain it to me." Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterward are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain, scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered because the famine that followed it will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. And now let Pharaoh look for And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man to put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land to take a fifth of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food of these good years that are coming and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh to be kept in the cities for food. This food should be held in reserve for the country to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by the famine. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh and to all the officials. So Pharaoh asked them, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." Wow. Look at what God is doing in Joseph's life. So take a look at this comma guide. If you are familiar with the Quick Start Guide, you can go ahead and go back through, listen or read this passage, and go back through and look at some of the different things that comma calls out for, so that you can just engage in this passage a little bit differently. If you're not familiar with the comma Quick Start Guide, go ahead and stay tuned. The comma, every letter in comma stands for something, a way that you can engage with the Bible. The C in comma stands for context. What is happening in this book of the Bible at the time that it was written? Bible Project videos, that first page of the study Bible is a great way to get some of those insights and overviews. The O in comma is observations. What do I see? You want to look at treats without the vowels, TRTS. And so that first T is the theme. That big bold heading at the top of the passage is the theme. And this one was Pharaoh's dreams. And then the R in treats is repeating words or phrases. So go back through and highlight or underline some of those things that repeat over and over again or a few times, words and phrases. And then the T in treats is truths about God. What does the passage tell you about God? And then the S is something striking. Is there something that stood out to you, or something that was surprising to you, or that makes you think or wonder? And then that M in comma, that first M is message. What does God say? Put on your specs to take a closer look. SPECS. The S stands for sins to confess. The P stands for promises to claim. The E stands for examples to follow. That C in spec stands for commands to obey. Is there a command that God has given? And that S in specs is statements about God. And then that second M, meditate on that for a while, take some time, think about it, listen to some worship music, write in your comma journal. And then that A in comma is application. How are you going to apply it to your life? Now that you have read this passage and thought about it a little bit differently, how can it be applied to your life today and how you're living your life today? And if you need help with that, your Epic leaders, myself, we're here to help you with that, answer those questions, and think about that. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.